The other thing I'm curious about is the whole Audible audio version. How does that work? Or do some people, can you skip the whole typing and print copy and just go straight to an Audible book? How does that
No,
work?
you cannot skip that. The writing is very important, especially Audible, because Audible, they check it. Audible's owned by Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to match word for word with your ebook, with whatever ebook you have out there. And they double check it. So even once you turn it in, my first book, The Obsession, which is a murder mystery, it came out in on Audible. But it took them probably 6 weeks for them to check it to make sure that the audiobook met exactly with the ebook. So Audible's only one option. There's other companies out there. There's another one called Find Away Voices that will put out to a lot more audiences rather than just the Amazon Audible stuff. I'm not going to say which one is better than the other. I am fairly new to the audio version. Everything I do, I always experiment on myself first. Like if I'm going to try out a new printer or if I'm going to try out a new marketing technique or anything, I always experiment with my books. And I have 9 books out there right now. And so using Audible was an experiment with me for The Obsession. And I'm trying that. And I'm working on the second book in that series, Wind the Clock. And I'm working on the script for that so it can go out on Audible. But then the next book that I do, I'm probably going to do on Find Away Voices just to see if it makes a difference. And I don't know, I'm playing with the idea. So I've hired an actor to read my other 2 books, and she's going to read both of them, which is nice. But for the road to publishing, I'm toying with the idea of reading it myself, because being nonfiction, you get the author's voice more, and I don't know, it feels more personal.
Yeah, I definitely felt like that was important for me when I did it. So Audible does allow you to be off a little bit, but that's the difference between abridged and unabridged. Is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
That would make sense. Yes, that would make sense because
I think mine was a little off
shorten it.
script, and they told me I had to be like within 3%.
Okay, there you go.
I think is what they said, and I probably went on some tangents that were a little out there. One thing that I thought was interesting though with Audible, at least when I signed with them, is they forced me to sign. They didn't force. I had to do like a 7-year exclusivity, or I could do non-exclusivity, get less money. But then what's interesting out of that is now there's a lot more options out there, right? And so even from a free perspective, where people don't think about this, is your library card a lot of times will get you a free audiobook. And if you're using an audiobook or a book in general to gain new clients, you probably don't care as much about making the $2 to $10 per book. You care to get that in front of as many people as possible. So then they'll pick up the phone and call you and give you thousands of dollars in your service package or something like that. And so it's interesting, lessons learned with that. I probably would not have signed an exclusivity with Amazon had I thought about that or not at that point.
And that's the same thing that's the same thing about writing a book to sell in the back of the room. Same exact reason. If you're using it as marketing, you don't need to go with the traditional where they're going to give you 8% and you're the one selling the book.
Yeah. You're doing it because you want this thing right here or your book to get you more out of it. Right. And so it's like, I get it. Yeah. Totally agree with that.